Yeah.
The long curly hair is not a fan of him. Straight up headhunter. The history of football in the Czech Republic is a windy road, much like the streets of Prague. You get lost easily in the streets downtown or in Malá. You just get lost because World War II really not many bombs fell here, so it's pretty much untouched and in its original state. And the way that the city is laid out a lot of times feels like Czech culture, and the Czech football culture is part of that Czech culture. So nothing's straight, nothing's easy. There's windy turns. There's some streets that you're like, how am I going to get a car through here? That's the history of Czech football. But one thing I'm grateful with being involved with the Lions is Mike being here before me, sport with a purpose and whatnot. You can look back even at the parliamentary votes from every year at the football parliament things. Lions always were looking out for the best of the game. How can we advance the game, even if that might hurt us? And we need more people in Europe, in Prague and in Czech, of course, as well, that are thinking, how can we get the sport ahead? Not just my team. Of course, I'm a coach, and yeah, even though I'm here for different reasons than just winning, if I do something, I want to do it well. So I want to win. I don't like losing. There's nothing fun about losing, but I want to win the right way. And I don't want our guys or me to have to sacrifice character and the growth of the game moving forward to win.
Prague is a gorgeous city. There's other beautiful cities in Europe who I'm sure. I'm a little biased, but it's just fantastic because you really get to invest in kind of the first level, especially in some of these countries where football's newer. You get to really invest in kind of the first level of the sport and really, really build something here.
And yeah, living in Prague is, when people see the city and whatnot, it's gorgeous. Like, sometimes when I realize that, okay, I could walk down the hill from the castle and be at my apartment in 15 minutes. 15 minutes from the castle. 15 minutes from me, there's a castle, one of the biggest in the world. Okay, is this a dream? So like, there's just these crazy moments where I'll be driving through the city, just doing normal stuff, and I'll have to go through the center, and all of a sudden I'll look up and I'll see Charles Bridge and the Prague Castle, and I'll just be like, oh my gosh, I actually live here.
After the split we had a few years ago, I'm not sure if the Lions would have ceased to exist without Zach, but it would have definitely been a longer road had Zach not been here for that. So, and to kind of help the team through that. Kind of going forward, I'm interested to see kind of where we continue to develop, because we still have a really young team, and some of these other guys I'm sure you've talked to, we're trying to develop into some decent young men and coaches and things, and try and get them to invest in the lives of the next generation here. So that's we're trying to multiply that effort kind of through some of these older guys.
It's a pretty nice city here. I like Europe. It's a lot different from back home, but in a good way. It's just, I've been here for 2 months, still trying to get used to things, but it's a pretty nice city. I like it here. It's a great experience just being a part of something new and teaching other people and like bringing our culture from America over here. It's just something great.
I originally heard it a year ago. I used to watch the show Moving the Chains on YouTube, and it's kind of how I got familiar with it. I knew after college I wanted to play football somewhere. I kind of didn't know where or how to start, and kind of watching the podium and watching it kind of helped me get it and get going. I have not had coaching experience, so this is the first one. It is fun. It's definitely a challenge with the language barrier, I guess you could say, but the kids, they're very welcome to learning new things and being open. So it's fun getting out here, teaching them what we've learned in the States for years on years and helping them out. Yeah.
I mean, Czech culture, we're kind of at an interesting point in Czech history, I feel like, just because it's we're kind of slowly like especially with our junior guys and some of our younger senior guys, we're kind of coming into that first generation that really hasn't been touched by communism and things. So there's definitely becoming more and more Western here, but there's still some of those old school ideas that are kind of held deep. So it's interesting for me to be here to kind of see some of that. For other aspects of my job, I work with a church, so spiritually there's some other stuff kind of going on there too. But it's been probably just hanging with the guys and just getting to know them has really been a great thing. I think one of the stereotypes of Central Europeans and Eastern Europeans is that they tend to be a little cold. But once you get to know them, like, they'll do anything for you, like it's just been fantastic to really get to know guys finally it's taken me a while to get into some of that position in their lives, but it's really been kind of cool.
Won like every one of these. Let's go.
Do something good with the sport that I like in a country that has need for that. I was like, okay, let's jump on board. So I came over for what ended up being a 19-month stint or internship, and halfway through I was like, okay, I think I'm made to be in this place, and I didn't really want to. I thought about maybe joining some projects my friends were doing back in the States, completely outside of football. I thought about going other places all over the world, but for some reason Prague and the Czech people just kept being on my heart, and so I decided about halfway through that I think I was made to be here. I don't necessarily understand how and why.
We are handing out food to homeless people right here in front of the main train station. Yeah, we've been doing this about a year here, once a month, maybe a little longer than a year now. But kind of through that, we've been able to develop some relationships with some of the people who are regulars.
So I think one of the biggest things about living overseas and just how it's developed me as a person is I went from being a black and white type person to a person who appreciates colors and hues far more than ever before. And if somebody would have ever told me that I'd speak one of the hardest languages in the world for an American to learn and marry a Czech woman and have little Czech American kids as we're about to have, I don't know that I would ever believe that person. But just to look back at my life from 2002 when I just decided to go overseas, and then when I graduated college and I still wanted to play, and I realized there was tons of opportunities to play overseas. My growth as a person, I can't quantify it. I can't explain it. Sometimes when I talk about it, it feels like I'm actually I'm a little arrogant because I don't want to sound arrogant, but it just has added so much more depth to my life.
I'm not a rah-rah guy, I'm not the one running up and down the sideline screaming unless I'm angry. But I get a lot of energy from Zach because he's a high energy dude, and I think a lot of our players kind of feed on that as well.
Who's going to be on that field. Okay? They don't respect you. They don't like you. They think this is an easy win. Bullshit. Okay? Let them know that we are the team in Prague. Okay? You let them know from the very start, when you line up, you hit them in the mouth. Yeah! Don't be surprised, fellas, if this is a different game than when we were first there. Okay? Don't be surprised at halftime if we're kicking their ass. That don't mean it's going to be an easy one. You play every snap. Do your job. Okay? Go out there and make them quit football. I'm tired of hearing about the Black Panthers. I'm tired of hearing about the other team in Czech. I'm tired of hearing about how great they are, but they ain't that good. Go out there and
První věc, jsem unavený a hotový za toho, že všichni mi říkají, jak silní jsou. Víme, co jsme nechali na hřiště první zápas. Měli jsme 21 bodů útoku. Obráno, víte, co jste měli mít navíc? Nejsou silní! Nemyslíte tohle! Druhá věc. Druhá věc. Právě teď, já jsem zažil něco úplně jako jiného. Krásné a tak dál, ale když jako ona tlačila, oni řekli, že hej, když je to bolest, trefí to bolest, jako je to vlak. A pak já jsem jí řekl, 3krát, hele, tam ta bolest, je to jako skurvený panteři. A ona řekla, ano! Ona trefila jako tam tu bolest v obleče. A že to...
Come to practice, fellas.
Pojďte na ty tréninky.
There is a really good chance, okay, don't be discouraged, for one thing. There's a really good chance you're going to see that team again.
I want them to know that I really love them. And there's been those moments, even this season with our senior team, we started 0-3, 20 injuries, blah, blah, blah. And I had moments where we didn't watch film. I just talked and passionately teared up, hit the table, not yelling at people, but just like expressing my heart. Like, you're better than this, guys. You could do more, you could achieve more. I believe in you. And I think that's what kids need more of hearing these days. It's one of those things that as I'm on the threshold, the doorstep of being a father, one of those things that I really want to impart to my son and all my kids, if we have more, is that at the end of the day, yeah, you could score 6 touchdowns and rush for 100 yards. Or you could throw a pick 6 right before half of the Czech Bowl. And that's the only touchdown your opponent scored of the whole game. And at the end of the day, I'll love you just as much either way.